What if I told you the drinks you reach for every morning could be silently controlling your blood sugar? We often think about cutting carbs, counting calories, or choosing the right snacks. But what about what you sip? Water, coffee, tea, even milk. These common drinks might be quietly raising or lowering your glucose without you even realizing it. For diabetics, these aren't just beverages. They're daily decisions that can shape your energy, weight, and long-term A1C levels. You may be watching what you eat, but if your drinks aren't dialed in, you could be missing a major opportunity to improve your health. In this video, we'll break down the 5 most important morning drinks that can help stabilize your blood sugar or completely throw it off. And we're not just talking theory. I'll be sharing real research-backed tips that you can use today to feel better and get more control over your numbers. Some of these choices may shock you, including one drink you probably thought was perfectly healthy, but actually spikes insulin fast. And by the end of this video, you'll discover something that could change how you manage diabetes forever. So don't forget to hit subscribe. Most people think of water as just something to quench thirst, but for diabetics, it's so much more. It's not just hydration. Water acts as a powerful biological tool that directly influences your blood sugar levels. When you're dehydrated, even slightly, your blood sugar can rise without you eating a single extra carb. In fact, losing just 1 to 2% of your total body water can make insulin less effective. That means your pancreas has to work harder, and your glucose stays elevated longer than it should. Here's what happens. When your blood sugar rises, your kidneys kick into gear to flush out the excess. This process is called osmotic diuresis, and it pulls water from your body along with the sugar. For every gram of glucose excreted, you lose about 15 to 20 milliliters of water, nearly half an ounce. So if your blood sugar is high all day, you could be losing 1 to 2 liters just in urine. And if you're not replenishing that fluid, your blood volume shrinks, making your glucose more concentrated. Over time, this contributes to higher A1C levels, even if your diet hasn't changed at all. One major study showed that people who drank less than a liter, around 34 ounces, of water daily had a 28% higher risk of developing high blood sugar compared to those who drank more than 50 ounces. Another analysis revealed that increasing water intake by just 24 ounces lowered fasting glucose by 8 to 10 milligrams per deciliter. That's enough of a drop to move someone from the pre-diabetic range into the normal range. But hydration doesn't just help with flushing sugar, it directly affects how your cells respond to insulin. Mildly dehydrated cells absorb up to 25% less glucose compared to fully hydrated ones, even with the same insulin level. That means water helps your insulin work more efficiently, reducing the stress on your pancreas long term. And when the pancreas is overworked, it leads to insulin fatigue, making diabetes harder to manage over time. Beyond blood sugar, water plays a vital role in protecting your kidneys, one of the organs most impacted by diabetes. Roughly 1 in 3 adults with diabetes will develop kidney disease, and dehydration makes that risk even worse. When you're dehydrated, your kidneys filter less efficiently, allowing waste and glucose to accumulate in damaged tissues. Over time, that increases the risk of diabetic nephropathy, nerve damage, and even kidney failure. Staying hydrated supports better kidney filtration, lowers toxin buildup, and reduces stress on your filtration system. And here's another bonus. Dehydration thickens your blood, which raises blood pressure, a major concern for diabetics. In one study, drinking just 17 ounces of water lowered systolic blood pressure by 5 to 7 millimeters of mercury in 30 minutes. That's nearly the same effect as some medications, and it costs nothing but a trip to the faucet. So how much should you actually drink? A simple rule: divide your body weight in half and drink that many ounces daily. If you weigh 180 pounds, aim for about 90 ounces of water each day, more if you're active or on certain meds. If you're taking metformin or SGLT2 inhibitors like Farxiga or Jardiance, you may need even more hydration. These drugs increase urination and water loss, which can deplete your body of both fluids and critical electrolytes. Magnesium and sodium are 2 of the most important, and a drop in magnesium alone can reduce insulin sensitivity by 30%. That's why proper hydration, combined with good nutrition, can help reverse that deficiency and improve glucose control. Here's a simple test. Look at your urine color. Pale yellow is ideal. Dark yellow means you're likely dehydrated. But if your urine is completely clear all day long, you may be overhydrating and flushing out key nutrients. Overhydration can lead to loss of potassium, magnesium, and B vitamins, all essential for managing diabetes symptoms. So how can you hydrate smarter? Skip the sports drinks and sugary flavored waters. They often contain more harm than help. Instead, enhance your water naturally. Add a slice of lemon to increase vitamin C and support kidney filtration. You can also try a pinch of pink Himalayan salt to help restore sodium and support adrenal health. This is especially helpful if you feel lightheaded, dizzy, or fatigued after frequent urination, signs of electrolyte loss. And here's a great habit to start today. Drink 15 to 20 ounces of water about 30 minutes before meals. Studies show this one change can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 13% just from slowing digestion. Water delays gastric emptying, which means carbs are absorbed more slowly, leading to a smoother glucose curve after eating. That's a big win if you struggle with blood sugar spikes after lunch or dinner, and it costs nothing to try. So if you're serious about lowering your A1C, protecting your kidneys, and boosting insulin sensitivity, don't overlook water. It's not just a drink, it's one of the most effective and accessible blood sugar management tools you have. Start tracking how much water you actually drink each day and see how it aligns with your glucose levels. Make hydration a consistent habit, not just when you feel thirsty, and your numbers will likely reflect the change. By the way, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from? Drop your city or country in the comments and share the most famous historical place in your area. It's always amazing to see how far this community reaches and learn about your cultures around the world. Now, if water is the foundation, let's move to the next morning drink most people reach for, coffee or tea. But the real question is your morning brew helping or hurting your blood sugar? Let's take a closer look. When you think about managing diabetes, your mind probably goes straight to carbs, sugar, or medications, right? But surprisingly, what you drink in the morning, especially coffee or tea, plays a massive role too. That simple, unsweetened brew could either stabilize your blood sugar or unknowingly send it climbing before breakfast even hits. Let's begin with black coffee, one of the most chemically rich drinks on the planet with over 1,000 active compounds. Among these, 4 stand out for diabetics: chlorogenic acid, quinides, cafestol, and trigonelline. Names worth remembering. These compounds don't just exist for flavor. They actually affect how your body processes sugar, fat, and insulin. Chlorogenic acid, in particular, inhibits the enzyme glucose 6-phosphatase, slowing down glucose release from your liver. This means less sugar enters your bloodstream when you're fasting, which helps bring down morning glucose levels. One study showed people who drank coffee rich in chlorogenic acid saw a 12 to 15 milligrams per deciliter drop in fasting glucose. That's a meaningful reduction, especially over 4 to 6 weeks, without making any changes to diet or exercise. Cafestol, found in unfiltered coffee like French press and Turkish, also supports insulin by stimulating GLP-1 production. GLP-1 is the same hormone boosted by medications like Ozempic, which helps improve insulin response and glucose absorption. So yes, regular coffee may give you a natural GLP-1 boost, not as strong as meds, but still very real. But coffee is a double-edged sword. It contains caffeine, which activates stress hormones like cortisol and epinephrine. This stress response signals the liver to release glucose, a process called hepatic gluconeogenesis, raising blood sugar levels. That's why some people see a 10 to 25 milligrams per deciliter spike after coffee, especially on an empty stomach. If your adrenal system is already stressed or your cortisol is chronically high, this effect becomes even more pronounced. But here's the fix. Drink coffee with food or try decaf to reduce the cortisol-triggered glucose release. You still get the beneficial compounds, just without the stress-induced sugar rush some people experience. So what's the safe dose? Research shows that 1 to 2 cups per day, around 8 to 16 ounces, is ideal. Going beyond 400 milligrams of caffeine daily, about 4 to 5 cups, may raise blood pressure and worsen insulin resistance. It can also disrupt sleep, which has a downstream effect on hormones and overnight glucose control. Now let's switch gears to tea, an entire world of plant-based benefits hiding in your cup. Unlike coffee, tea doesn't just work on the liver. It works on your gut, cells, inflammation, and insulin receptors. Green tea is the superstar here. Its main compound, EGCG, enhances glucose uptake by activating AMPK in muscle cells. That's the same metabolic pathway triggered by the drug metformin. But here, it's happening naturally through tea. Clinical studies show green tea can reduce insulin resistance by up to 20% with just 2 to 3 cups per day. In one trial, participants saw fasting glucose drop by 10 to 20 milligrams per deciliter and even a 0.5% reduction in A1C. That's a huge win considering how gentle and affordable green tea is to add into your routine. But that's just the start. Black tea brings another set of benefits through the flavins and theorubicins. These antioxidant compounds protect pancreatic beta cells from oxidative damage, which helps preserve insulin production over time. People who drank black tea with meals had up to 20% lower post-meal glucose levels compared to water drinkers. Then there's cinnamon tea, not just a warm drink, but a powerful blood sugar regulator with insulin-like activity. Cinnamon contains polyphenols that mimic insulin and help cells absorb more glucose even without increasing insulin output. Studies show cinnamon extract can lower fasting glucose by 15 to 25 milligrams per deciliter, and tea delivers similar results more gradually. To make it, simmer 1 teaspoon of cinnamon bark in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes. Safe, simple, and effective. Turmeric tea is another winner. Its active compound curcumin reduces TNF-alpha and IL-6, major inflammation triggers in diabetes. Chronic inflammation leads to insulin resistance, nerve damage, and kidney stress. Turmeric helps calm that cascade naturally. Daily use has been linked to reduced A1C, improved nerve pain, and even protection against diabetic kidney decline. Chamomile tea does more than help you sleep. It blocks the enzyme aldose reductase that turns glucose into harmful sorbitol. Sorbitol buildup is a key cause of diabetic nerve damage, vision loss, and kidney stress. Chamomile helps stop it. Hibiscus tea, rich in anthocyanins, supports blood vessels, lowers blood pressure, and cuts LDL cholesterol, all diabetes concerns. In one study, hypertensive diabetics drinking hibiscus saw systolic pressure drop by 7 to 10 millimeters of mercury. That's big. These teas don't just taste great, they transform how your body manages sugar, hormones, and inflammation. But timing matters. Drinking coffee or tea 15 to 30 minutes before meals can reduce post-meal glucose spikes. They help delay gastric emptying, slow down carbohydrate absorption, and make you feel fuller, all without extra meds. And if you add a slice of lemon or a dash of cinnamon, you multiply the blood sugar lowering effects naturally. Now a word of warning, don't undo these benefits by adding sugar or even artificial sweeteners to your drinks. Even zero-calorie sweeteners like sucralose or aspartame can stimulate insulin through gut taste receptors in sensitive individuals. Some people notice glucose spikes despite using sugar-free drinks. So always observe how your own body reacts. The safest choice for sweetening? Use a small amount of pure stevia, which has been shown to support glucose control safely. And if you're on medications like insulin or sulfonylureas, be cautious. These drinks may enhance your medication's effects. That means adding them too quickly could lead to low blood sugar, especially in the morning or on an empty stomach. Start slow, monitor your numbers closely, and always test your glucose 30 minutes and 1 hour after introducing new drinks. Now here's a great challenge. For 7 days, swap your sweetened drinks for black coffee or unsweetened green or herbal tea. Track your blood sugar after each cup and again after meals, and see if your average readings improve by 5 to 15%. It's a simple experiment that could lead to better energy, fewer sugar spikes, and more stable mornings, all without medication. Let me ask you, have you ever noticed a change in your blood sugar after coffee or tea? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could help someone else unlock better control of their diabetes. Now that we've covered water, coffee, and tea, let's move on to one more breakfast staple, milk. But not all milk is created equal, especially for diabetics. Let's compare dairy and plant-based milk next. When it comes to milk, most people just think of calcium, protein, or whether it's full fat or skim. But if you're living with diabetes, milk does more than build bones. It can shape your blood sugar too. The kind of milk you pour into your coffee or blend into your breakfast smoothie truly matters for your numbers. So today, let's look at two categories: low-fat dairy milk versus plant-based alternatives, and how each one affects your body. Let's start with low-fat milk, the classic go-to, especially the 1% or skim milk found in most households. One cup of 1% low-fat milk contains about 12 grams of carbs, 8 grams of protein, and 2.5 grams of fat. Those 12 grams of carbs mostly come from lactose, a natural sugar that has a glycemic index around 45. That number may not seem high, but for someone insulin resistant, it can still spike blood sugar moderately. What's surprising is that low-fat milk can spike glucose faster than whole milk. Here's why. When fat is removed, digestion happens more quickly, which means sugars are absorbed faster into the bloodstream. That's why some diabetics see a higher spike with skim milk than they do with full-fat dairy. Still, low-fat milk has some benefits. It's rich in calcium, vitamin B12, iodine, and whey protein. Whey protein has been shown to improve early-phase insulin response and support lean muscle mass, both vital for blood sugar control. But it also contains compounds that stimulate IGF-1, an insulin-like growth factor, which can increase insulin activity unnaturally. That may be counterproductive if you're already struggling with insulin resistance or elevated insulin levels. So while dairy has nutritional upsides, the sugar absorption rate and insulin stimulation make it less ideal for many diabetics. Now let's talk about plant-based milks, which are not all created equal when it comes to glucose control. The best-known options include almond, soy, oat, coconut, cashew, and the newer pea protein milks like Ripple. Let's begin with almond milk, one of the safest bets for blood sugar stability when chosen carefully. Unsweetened almond milk has less than 1 gram of carbs per cup, only 30 to 40 calories, and almost no sugar. It's often fortified with vitamin D, calcium, and B12, making it competitive nutritionally with dairy. And almond milk contains vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that supports heart health, nerve repair, and immune balance. This makes it ideal for diabetics focused on managing inflammation, oxidative stress, and long-term complications. Soy milk is another strong contender. It contains about 4 grams of carbs per cup, if unsweetened, and about 7 grams of protein. That protein helps slow digestion and improve satiety, which can help prevent overeating and sugar spikes later. Soy also contains isoflavones, plant compounds that mimic estrogen and have anti-inflammatory and insulin-sensitizing effects. Some studies suggest soy milk may improve insulin sensitivity, especially in women and older adults. But soy is also a common allergen, and if it causes bloating, fatigue, or digestive issues, it may not be the right choice for you. Now let's look at oat milk, which has exploded in popularity but comes with serious downsides for diabetics. Even unsweetened oat milk contains 16 to 19 grams of carbs per cup and has a glycemic index as high as 69. That's higher than many types of white bread, and it hits the bloodstream fast, spiking sugar quickly. If you enjoy oat milk, limit it to small portions and always pair it with protein or fat to slow absorption. Coconut milk is a bit of a wild card. Its nutrition depends entirely on whether it's from a can or a carton. Carton-based unsweetened coconut milk typically has only 1 to 2 grams of carbs and 40 to 50 calories per cup. That makes it a good low-carb choice for everyday use, especially if fortified with calcium and vitamin D. Canned coconut milk, on the other hand, is very high in fat and calories, best saved for cooking or sauces. Pea protein milk, like Ripple, is emerging as a strong option for people avoiding nuts, soy, or dairy. It contains around 8 grams of protein, just 2 grams of net carbs, and is often fortified with omega-3s and calcium. Pea milk is also gut-friendly, allergen-light, and easy to digest. A great option if other milks trigger discomfort. But here's a common mistake people make: buying plant milk without checking the label for added sugars or gums. Many popular brands add sweeteners, natural flavors, thickeners like carrageenan, or emulsifiers that can irritate the gut. Some versions have 5 to 15 grams of added sugar per cup. That's more than a scoop of ice cream. For diabetics, these ingredients can worsen inflammation, destabilize insulin, and contribute to glucose swings. So always choose unsweetened versions, ideally with 2 to 3 grams of net carbs or less per serving. If you're sensitive to gut issues, look for options without carrageenan or gums like ghrelin and xanthan. Now, what's the best option for daily drinking? Unsweetened almond milk is usually the safest for glucose, followed by pea protein milk and soy milk, if tolerated well. Low-fat dairy milk can be used occasionally, best paired with meals, never on an empty stomach, and always in moderation. Oat milk should be minimized, especially for anyone actively trying to lower A1C or reduce post-meal glucose spikes. Here's a pro tip. Create a simple diabetic-friendly smoothie by blending almond or pea milk with chia seeds and cinnamon. Chia seeds slow digestion, cinnamon supports insulin function, and both provide fiber, a winning combo for glucose control. You can even add unsweetened protein powder to stabilize energy and help with satiety between meals. Remember, drinks like milk may seem small, but they stack up fast across the day. Just one wrong choice in the morning could lead to sugar spikes, inflammation, or fatigue hours later. So read your labels, test your glucose after trying new milks, and see how your body personally responds. Everyone reacts differently, and your numbers are your best guide, not just the front of the carton. So now we've covered water, coffee, tea, and milk, all of which can quietly shape your glucose levels each day. Up next is your final thought, where we'll wrap up and give you a plan to take action. So whether you start your day with a glass of water, a cup of tea, or a splash of milk, what you drink might be the missing piece in your diabetes routine, not just what you eat. Each beverage carries its own effect on your insulin, your kidneys, your blood pressure, even your morning energy. And the great news is, you don't need expensive supplements or complicated diets to make a change. Just by swapping your drinks wisely, you can lower your glucose, support your organs, and feel more in control. Try it for a week. Drink more water, switch to unsweetened coffee or green tea, and choose low-carb milks. Watch how your numbers respond, how your mood shifts, and how your body starts to thank you back. These small choices add up, day by day, cup by cup, and they really can change your health story. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and hit subscribe. And before you go, what's your go-to drink in the morning? Tell me in the comments below. I read every reply, and your tip might help someone else today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.